I'm your host Yashasvi Gupta with your daily roundup of legal updates from across the country. For detailed reading, you can always visit on www.livelaw.in. Please make sure to watch this video till the end and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel because the support means the world to us. In the first news today, the Supreme Court took a firm step to ensure workplaces, both government and private, are following POSH Act 2013. The court directed that within 6 weeks, every district in every state must conduct a detailed survey to check whether workplaces have set up an internal committee as required by the law. Here's how it will work. Labor commissioners in each district and chief labor officers in each state must first share information about registered workplaces. This information will be then sent to the deputy commissioner, who will then use it to conduct the survey. The survey will cover all government and private institutions in the district. The Supreme Court did not just stop at giving directions. It also warned that if institutions don't comply, the Labor Department may refuse to renew their licenses. Interestingly, the court noted that only the Andaman and Nicobar Island have so far done this job properly, completing a district-wide survey for both government and private workplaces. This matter is part of a suo motu case the court started in December 2023. When Justices B.V. Nagaratna and K.V. Vishwanathan had already issued wide-ranging orders for proper POSH Act implementation. Those earlier directions included appointing district officers, forming local committees, and ensuring internal committees are in place everywhere. Since then, the court has been monitoring compliance closely, even imposing costs on states and UTs that fail to file progress report. In the Kanchagachi Bauli deforestation case, the Telangana government told the Supreme Court that it is now planning a better proposal for its IT site, keeping sustainable development in mind. The bench of CJI B.R. Gavai and Justice K. Vinod Chandran was hearing a suo motu matter on the Telangana government's felling of 1,000 trees in the Kanchagachi Bauli area in the outskirts of Hyderabad. Senior advocate Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, appearing for the state, sought additional time to file a reply, saying the government aims to create a plan that safeguards wildlife, forest and lakes while pursuing development. The CGI encouraged this, saying, "Come up with a good proposal. If you do, we will replace earlier compliments and give you real compliments." Earlier, the court had warned officials of contempt and temporary imprisonment, noting that tree cutting began over a long weekend without proper safeguards. The bench emphasized it is not against development, but it must be balanced with environmental protection. The court wants mitigating and compensatory measures like tree planting trees to offset deforestation. Granting the state 6 weeks, the court recorded that if a state presents a holistic plan balancing growth with nature, it will be welcomed. Coming to the next matter, the Supreme Court cancelled bail granted to Olympian wrestler Sushil Kumar in the Sagar Dhankar murder case and directed him to surrender within a week. A bench of Justices Sanjay Karol and Prashant Kumar Mishra was hearing an appeal filed by Ashok Dhankar, father of the victim, challenging the order passed by the Delhi High Court in March this year granting bail to Sushil Kumar. Sushil Kumar was arrested in May 2021 for the alleged murder of 27-year-old former junior national wrestling champion Sagar Dhankar at Delhi's Chhatrasal Stadium. The High Court had granted bail citing low trial progress, as only 30 out of 186 prosecution witnesses examined in 3 years. Ashok Dhankar approached the Supreme Court challenging the bail, raising allegations regarding intimidation of witnesses. It was contended that when Kumar was earlier released on interim bail, he had threatened a key witness. The court, considering these concerns, revoked his bail and directed immediate compliance. The Supreme Court is scheduled to hear tomorrow, on August 14th, the issue of restoration of statehood of Jammu and Kashmir. The bench will be hearing the application seeking directions to the Union government to restore the statehood of the Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir. The matter is listed before the bench of CJI B.R. Gavai and Justice K. Vinod Chandran. The application has been filed as a miscellaneous application in the disposed of matter, Article 370 of the Constitution, in which the Supreme Court upheld the abrogation of the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. In that judgment, the court did not address the issue of constitutionality of the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act, which converted J&K into a union territory, in view of the assurance given by the Solicitor General that the statehood will be restored. The court merely directed restoration of statehood shall take place at the earliest and as soon as possible, without setting any timelines. In this matter, the applicant's college teacher Zahoor Ahmed Bhatt and activist Khurshid Ahmed Malik stated that despite the assurance given by the Solicitor General that J&K's statehood will be restored, the union has not taken any steps in that regard in the last 11 months after the judgment in the Article 370 case. The Delhi High Court was informed that the Delhi government has suspended 9 Tihar jail officials and started disciplinary proceedings against them over an alleged extortion racket inside the jail involving both officials and inmates. On Monday, the High Court had told the CBI to register an FIR. The Delhi Government's Council told the bench of Chief Justice D.K. Upadhyaya and Justice Tushar Rao Gedela that the suspended officials have been transferred from jail number 1 and a report will be filed within 2 months. The court stressed that disciplinary rules must be strictly followed and granted 8 weeks to both Delhi government and the CBI to submit their status report. The next hearing is on October 28. In the last news today, the Bombay High Court has dismissed a petition filed by an accused in a Prevention of Corruption Act case who wanted to set aside a no-cross order passed by the trial court. The case revolved around the accused repeatedly failing to cross-examine the prosecution's key witness, despite 5 years of opportunities. The trial court had already set aside 2 earlier no-cross orders and given fresh chances. But on 3 separate occasions, neither the accused nor his lawyer cross-examined the witness. On the last occasion, the witness waited the entire day. The court work was disrupted due to repeated adjournment requests, forcing the trial court to pass a no-cross order. The accused argued he was not given the option to personally cross-examine when his lawyer was absent. But Justice Kishore C. Sant noted that enough opportunities had already been given. Therefore, the petition was dismissed with 50,000 cost payable to the District Legal Aid Center, Aurangabad. The trial court was asked to finish the case within 3 months.